Today, like any other day, it is the 4th of July. And normally, round about 8 or 9 on a Thursday, the day before, you hear so many fireworks all till the wee hours in the morning. And then it starts tonight. But yesterday, last night, it was something different. You heard very few pops, crackles, and whatever. And then it got silent. It got silent. But I want to tell you a story. And I'm going to lead up to what's going on. My daddy had a business. And this man was going out of business. And he had a shuttle. And he told me to help him. My sister referred me and help him find some money because he couldn't get a business loan. And my daddy, told me to help him, handle his business. And first thing I did was we tried to get the books from the man. And the man told me he didn't have the books. He couldn't do it. His son had. His son didn't want to give up the books. So my daddy told me, he said, I'll draft up a contract, but he said, I'm not doing it until I see the books. Because my daddy wanted to go into the concession part of his business. He had a shuttle. The man had a shuttle business where he was shuttling people to the casinos when it opened up in Mississippi. But, it wasn't doing good. His buses was breaking down. The building was falling apart. And so we didn't know how much money he was making. So my daddy asked me to come up with a plan, and I did. It was a cheap plan, but it was working. And I went and got a whole bunch of different tickets, and I made up tickets and bus pass, monthly bus pass. I had them laminated where you stamp it and stuff. And I had it where people could buy monthly passes, weekly passes, and then there was daily passes. And over the time that we did it, he said, I did it for 3 weeks because I wanted to show my daddy that the business will grow. And it was a thriving business, but it was poorly managed. And within every day for 3 weeks, he brought in sometimes 10,000, 9,000. Now, keep in mind now, this is in the 90s. He was bringing in 10,000. He was projecting with the monthly passes, 10,000. He was making money. 3 weeks had passed. And, the employees who wasn't getting paid, they was hopeful. They was really hopeful. You could see hope. The other son was hopeful and stuff. So after 3 weeks, it came time for payday, where we would have been able to show a small profit at a short time. We would have been able to show, get some of the buses that was broke fixed and pay the employees and still have a operating fee. This would allow my daddy to see the books, see that it's a profit can be made, and the money that he would have given the man would have been able to bring him over the top and then some. Well, that Friday morning, his son came over and stole all the money and left and wouldn't call nobody, wouldn't talk to nobody. The people didn't get paid, and I went and told my daddy the disappointment that had happened, and my daddy gave him an ultimatum, a second ultimatum. He said, I will give you the $50,000. I'll give it to you. I'll loan it to you for you to do business because I want that concession. But here's the catch. You got to fire your son. He said, Samantha, I need you to do the paperwork. So, of course, I would have did a performance contract, and I would have put in there a clause that in the event that this man had died, even though it was a family business, that my daddy would have had a shareholder stake and would have been able to control the business until he got his money or whatever that may be, and that my daddy would have prevented his son from coming back to the company as a family business and taking over again. So the man Said, but this is a family business. Yeah, but you need money to operate. He was an older man and stuff. You need money to operate. Ain't no bank gonna give it to you. And he's not gonna give it to you until you sign that clause. You gotta fire him. He sat there and debated and debated and debated and tried to negotiate. And finally, I made the decision. I told my daddy, I said, well, we can't do business. And I went and told my daddy that the decision I made. And my daddy said, okay. And 3 weeks later, he went out of business. So you say, well, what does that story tell you? It tells you a lot. See, it says that America was so gung-ho to invest in that man who didn't show you his books. He just showed you an image and you bought it. He played on you. Yeah, white America, he did, and some blacks and Hispanics and stuff, but see, you was okay if he would have been deporting just Hispanics and stuff, but see, it's hitting home. And see, this big, beautiful bill that he says, oh, it's really gonna hit home. Really gonna hit home. And see, I'm gonna tell you something. Them Republicans know that as of today, that's why they were dancing after they signed it. They know they just did career assassination. They know they did, but they ain't telling you that. But yeah, they did career assassination, because what's gonna happen is, when that stuff starts happening, it's gonna basically career end them, and then the rest of them that's in there gonna be the minority. Yeah, see, Trump know all of that. He knows all of that. See, that's different when you take a person who don't understand business, and then they want to tell you that Trump is a businessman, and they don't understand it. See, you don't understand. See, that the problem is you don't understand the game. He do. Business is not about dollars and cents. It's about making hardcore decisions. It's about having a company sustain. And it's people out here that will kill, steal, and rob by any means necessary to make a dime. But see, because you are a average Joe who think that a businessman who is shrewd and don't give a damn about you, thinking that he's out to help you, your little 3 or 4 kids and all of that, when he ain't. Because I'm going to tell you, let's go back to that story. If the man cared so much about his daddy, he wouldn't have stole no money from him. But see, because he had a bigger plan than his daddy was naive and stuff, and his dad is still trying to save him, despite the fact the man took all his money and ran him out of business. That's how some of you Americans are. That's how some of you Americans are. White America is just like that. Y'all see the writing on the wall, but you so gung-ho on getting them immigrants out. I see it on my page. Some of y'all who supporting in Tennessee, y'all so gung-ho about getting rid of that immigrant that you will sit here and kill your own family. You will cut your own throat just to get rid of somebody else. You got to be petty as I don't know what. Then we got the second part of that of what's going on. All you black folks that's been, I'm finna go. I've been hearing black folks, even here. I live in Chattanooga, beautiful city. You got some of the most unrealistic black folks here that you ever seen. That's why I told y'all that Rachel Campbell was not a pick for the Democratic Party here in Tennessee, because this is her neck of the woods. And I guarantee you, you know what? I've spent all during the election saying, hey, y'all better be prepared for Project 2025. What's that? Or what's that? Girl, they asking me what's going on? Damn, like you ain't got a TV or a phone or whatever. What's going on? But see, some of y'all black folks, and if the shoe fits, you better wear it and walk it out. Some of y'all don't even know what's going on. don't even know that bill, what that bill, it ain't just blacks, it's whites. I'm sitting up here, Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee is telling them, oh, this bill gonna create 140,000 jobs for Tennessee. Oh, it's gonna do all of this. And I'm saying, are you that gullible? Have America become that gullible? That they read the bill. They read it line by line. And you still ask, and she telling you what it's going to do, and you ain't got common sense. God gave two gooses to go and do your own research. Go and see the bill. Go on. You can go on Fox. I was shocked Fox carried it. I was shocked. It's a lot of people now that's not celebrating the 4th of July. That was Independence Day. We don't have independence anymore. So what's the purpose of celebrating? If we keep doing what we're doing, if we keep black folks, and I'm going to say this, I don't care if you're a Republican. If you sitting here co-signing to this bullshit, you going to get it. I'm going to tell you what's getting ready to happen. You're going to have folks who got nursing home parents, going to have to bring them parents back home. And these senile people going to be keeping these babies. Oh, it's finna get it. You got folks who finna lose their insurance. They're going to lose their insurance. We finna see death at a rate higher. Why? Because you know why? Because for one or two reasons, and you may not want to agree, genocide. He got to get the population down for him to be a king and rule over those who are going for this stuff. He got to kill y'all off. It's too many of y'all. Y'all is too many. He had a couple of thousands at that January 6th. How many millions? Come on. He know the millions. He know his popularity gone. He know his voting thing is gone. He knows that by next November, if we take over, if the Democratic Party, and I don't care if you hate the Democratic Party, that's fine. It'll be okay. But if you sit here and co-sign to this bullshit because you loyal to Trump or you loyal to the party, you deserve every damn thing you get. You don't be loyal to somebody that's cutting your throat. I am a Democrat. But when Democrats start going, if Democrats ever start going wrong and left field, no, I ain't finna co-sign that. I am not about to co-sign that. I'm not finna sit here. I've been outspoken about everything. I've been outspoken about the Democratic Party. No, I ain't finna co-sign. I ain't finna sit up here and be loyal to something that's cutting my throat. No, you ain't supposed to be making my life a little bit better. You're supposed to be doing that. And when somebody can make your life a better, like I said, you look at his books. Look at his books. He won't show you none of his taxes. He won't show you nothing of his. And like I said, why? Because he has something to hide. And y'all fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. It's just like this is a wide scale apprentice on wide scale. And what's going to happen is the minute some of them Hispanics, them illegal immigrants, them criminals, them rapists, them all them things that they talking about, as soon as hurricane season come and some of them folks start getting eaten up by animals, America gonna have a fucking problem. I guarantee you, the world gonna see this atrocity like they did in Germany. We gonna have a fucking problem. We gonna have a bigger problem than you think, than them eggs, them bacon, and that gas that you been sitting up here big. When you white folks been sitting up here big, that latte in Starbucks, we gonna have a bigger problem. You ain't gotta believe me. You ain't gotta believe me. I promise you, I wake up this morning and it's like, it looks like America, but it's not. And when he signed that bill, it's over. Just for right now. But we can make a change. We can make a change come next year. I wouldn't even right now. I'm not even going to complain about anything that I go through. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to have faith and hope. And don't sit here and say all politicians can't be trusted. No, don't even say that. Because I know some folks that I don't care if they doing something. You know, when you can't expect everybody to be Bible-like. Because I'm going to tell you something. Some of y'all ain't been holy and all that. Y'all doing all this stuff in the name of Jesus. Jesus ain't never did no mess like this. Jesus ain't never, when Jesus did something to somebody, it was because he had a legitimate reason. When God did something to somebody, he had a legitimate reason. When he said, don't do it, and you did it. And he said, but God now he's slow to anger. But see, we've been doing all this stuff. Like I said, we hypocrites. We're getting ready to become the biggest murderer in this world. We begin to be the biggest hypocrite because we have been the other. Wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. Didn't we get rid of what's his name? Saddam Hussein for the same shit. For the same shit. Then we got rid of Hitler for the same shit. For the same shit. And then now we doing it. And we just think, like, oh, it's like we think it's okay. This is democracy and ain't nobody gonna do it. Yeah. This is not 4th of July. This is not independence. We're gonna have to carve a new independence. We're gonna have to start fighting. And for those of you who continue to sit with your head in your ass and think that this is not gonna affect you and you getting some kind of government assistance, I don't give a damn if it's weak. You better start fighting or you gonna be left as a casualty.